Technology, diversity, wine, the redwoods, and everything in between. Welcome to the Northern California Bay Area, and one show takes you inside the real estate that makes it all happen. This is By the Bay.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to By the Bay. I'm your host, Dan Ancheta, and I'm grateful that you are here listening or watching on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere else you might be finding us, or watching this on Instagram or TikTok. That's fun. I have a great guest today. Lindsey Samuelsen is a friend of mine. She is a realtor at Vanguard Properties and also a co-owner in Duality Painting with her husband, Zach, and we're also in the same B&I chapter. So thanks for being here, Lindsey. Introduce yourself to the audience. Tell everyone who you are and what you do.
Yeah, happy to be here, Dan. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
So I grew up in Petaluma. I now live in Rohnert Park with my husband and our two kiddos. I got into real estate in 2020, which was quite an interesting time to enter into.
That's like
this
great timing,
world.
right?
Yeah, in many ways. It's fun to see how it's evolved. And yeah.
That's awesome. So you're with Vanguard, which is a great local brokerage, right?
Yes.
And owned out of San Francisco, and like one of the few remaining independent brokerages that hasn't been gobbled up by one of the big old corporations, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Vanguard is a phenomenal brokerage. We have a wonderful team and locally owned, which I think really speaks to our Sonoma County consumers, because we do really pride ourselves in supporting local.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And so for you in your practice, as it's growing, it's like 6 years in or so, geographically, where are you doing most of your real estate business?
Yeah. So primarily in Sonoma County, Marin. I've gone up to Mendocino County, out to Lake County, but mostly I focus between Petaluma to Cloverdale.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so you grew up in Sonoma County and Petaluma, and now you guys have settled in Rohnert Park,
Yep.
right? Which is like very common, as like the cost of
Yeah.
living in Petaluma has just gone up,
Yeah.
up and up and up. Even East Petaluma used to be the affordable alternative, and now it's getting more expensive. So talk to me a little bit about, what strategies you've been using with your home buyers and like where you're finding opportunities for them. I'm assuming you do a lot of first-time home buyer.
Yeah, it's a good mix, and I definitely work with first-time home buyers. So I will say I agree with you. I think Rohnert Park is an interesting situation where it's one of the last main towns in Sonoma County 101 corridor that hasn't fully popped off with the super high pricing yet. So I think it's growing. We've got the casino, we've got all those businesses coming in. We've got the downtown space purchased.
Plus they're building a ton by Sonoma State, right?
By Sonoma State, Somo Village has a ton of new construction and new businesses like Old Cash, shout out. And it's growing a lot. So I think as far as affordability for where you are, it's a really awesome option.
Yeah, I look at some of those houses up there, especially when a buyer's getting into contract, and I'm like, that's actually a lot of house for what they're spending.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's probably one of the best affordable, bang for the buck type of spaces in the county. Must be the best.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And like a lot of new construction, right? So it's good condition, good size homes, and not, as far as like the overall scheme, like the overall spectrum of housing options in Sonoma County, it's one of the better options for what's the word I'm looking for? I'm like blanking on the word. It's not affordability, it's the value, I guess. Yeah. So what strategies are you using for your first time home buyers and even some of your move ups? Like, where are you finding opportunities for them in the market?
I think, it's a case by case basis. You really have to look at the particular house and what's going on with it. What are the motivations of the seller? How long has it been on the market? I'm seeing it's hard to say a general rule of thumb in this area because there is still, there's so many people looking to move in this area and deals are happening. But also there are the homes where maybe the seller is trying to buy a new home and they really need to sell their current home quickly, and you can get a deal. You can get some credits
Right.
back and things
So
like
really
that.
understanding what the seller's needs are and trying
I
to
would
like
say,
cater
yeah.
your client's offer to meet those needs.
Mhm.
And that makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with a first time home buyer, we do like a lot of home buyer education. I've noticed on your socials, like, hey, home buyer course. Kind of walk me through how you're preparing your home buyers, like especially the first timers, because I think a lot of the folks who listen to this show are like aspiring homeowners,
Yeah.
and they're trying to get insights into how to prepare. So like, what advice do you have for a first time home buyer as to like, how do you actually get ready?
That's a great question. I think that having a conversation with a mortgage broker like yourself is super important because otherwise you're just kind of stabbing in the dark and you have no idea what the cost of owning a home actually looks like and what you can afford and where you should be looking. Um, so I always recommend sitting down with a mortgage broker, lender, talking about, income, assets, and then having lenders run numbers and just take a look at the whole picture and give scenarios where you will be in a comfortable position to say, oh, okay, yes, that's a mortgage payment that makes sense to me. And then we can start looking around your price range. And then I educate buyers on the process of actually finding homes, negotiating on them, inspections. What does that look like to get you, from walking in the door to a home to actually getting the keys?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time like doing the the blocking and tackling education. Like, hey, here's how the actual process works. Like, here's the critical path that you go down.
Yeah.
Have like a whole PDF presentation or PowerPoint, whatever. And it's like, okay, here's actually who's involved, who gets paid, how everyone gets paid, and here's what your monthly payment would look like in different scenarios, and just kind of walking through all that. So we kind of deal with more of like the technical side of things, and I'm imagining that from the realtor's perspective, you're dealing with more of like the emotional side of things, because like we complement each other, because I don't. I mean, I try to like connect with people on that deeper level and not just be like, hey, here's the numbers, but what they want from me is the numbers.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess I'm curious to know from a realtor standpoint, like, how do you like emotionally prepare your clients for such a big, monumental, like life-changing decision?
That's a great question. And I will say part of the reason why I love doing this job is it is such an honor to be on the journey with people who are always in such profound life transitions, right? You're buying a house, you're selling a house. It's never just, oh, just sold a house yesterday. No, this is a huge transition and there's often more going on behind the scenes. Maybe you're getting married, maybe you're getting divorced, maybe you're having kiddos, maybe your kids just moved out to college. So, um, yeah, there. I am always stepping in at a time of transformation, and I think that's really profound and special, and can be very emotional.
For sure. No, I
Yeah.
mean, there's no one like really casually
Yeah.
buys a house, right? It's like where you live is one of the most important things,
Yeah.
one of the most important decisions. Probably who you choose as your partner is probably like number one biggest decision in your life.
Yep.
And then number two is like where you live.
Yep.
So it's up there. So is there anything that you're doing differently to like really like help a client like prepare themselves and like get themselves ready to buy a house after they've done the conversation with me about here's how much money you need and how many bedrooms and bathrooms, all that sort of thing. Like, how do you like, what makes you different in the way that you get your clients ready to move forward?
That's a good question. I think I have a unique background in that I'm also really passionate about yoga and meditation. I've been practicing for about 15 years, and I'm also getting my teaching certification through the SRJC, which I'm super excited about. So a lot of my work really comes from setting intention and mindset and really focusing on how, thoughts can shape reality. And that ties into buying a home too, because, I hear people sometimes come in immediately with a negative mindset about real estate. And it's like, well, I'll never be able to afford a home, or, I don't, the market's terrible. My dad said this is, not what I should be doing, da 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 da. And, if you let those thoughts play on repeat, then sure, yeah, you're not going to be a homeowner. But I think when you set out with the intention, even if you don't have all the whys figured out or the hows, I think just, if you can consciously say, you know what, I want to be a homeowner. That's something that's important to me. Then the why and the how start to fall into place, right?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean,
Yeah.
I think your reality is kind of crafted by your mindset,
Yeah.
right? So if your mindset is, it's too expensive, I can't do it. No one in my family has ever owned a house before, and I'm never going to be able to afford one. Then that's probably true for you then.
Yeah.
But if you're like, hey, this is hard, but I have a plan and I can execute that plan and I can do these things and I can see myself in that house in the future, then that's also probably true. So
absolutely. Yeah. So I think some great techniques that I've utilized and definitely recommend for people who want to go on the journey of homeownership is, can you sit and visualize what that actually looks like? Where are you? Are you in Sebastopol? Are you in the city? What does your house feel like? What does it make you feel inside? Is there a lot of light? Is there a lot of space? Is there a big yard that your dog can run around in? And if you sit with that, you'll start to see it unfold. And not to mention, homeownership doesn't have to look like one straight and narrow path. It doesn't have to look like, oh, I have a 20% down payment and I'm buying my dream house today. There are creative solutions, maybe it's multiple generations in a family buying their first home together. Maybe it's friends going in and buying a little compound. Maybe you're buying an investment property where you're getting a duplex and you can rent out half the space and get, that space rent to also, well, this is your side of things, offset the mortgage. Thank you.
So when I think about that, like the manifesting idea,
yeah,
I think it's not just like, hey, I visualize myself in the house, but it's also like, if I want to be a homeowner at some point, that doesn't mean that you have to do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
It means that you can set a big goal. And so maybe part of like your journey for becoming a homeowner is finishing your education to get the job that gives you the income that allows you to buy the house that you want. So it's not just like, hey, I'm thinking about buying a house and I want to buy a house and I can visualize myself in a house. It's like, how do you become the type of person that invests in real estate and owns real estate and, is able to be that person? And if you can kind of visualize that, like that version of yourself, then you can make the changes in your life and your spending habits or your career or, take that entrepreneurial risk, or you can do those different things and then become that person. Yeah. And then the trailing kind of result is you buy a house.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
So, there's a lot of people, I think that, there's a lot of opportunity out there. And, if they change their mindset and are like, hey, I'm not limited to what I am today, I could be something completely different in the future. That unlocks a lot of doors for people.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, I really think that it's important to work with a team that believes in you and believes in your potential. I would say we're those people where you could walk in the door and sure, you might not be qualified that day that you sit down with us to buy a home, but we see the potential and we can walk you through the steps to make that happen. And there are definitely programs and opportunities available that we know about because we do this every day that have not hit your radar. So
for sure. No, we've had clients that have been pre-approved for many years and they're still like working on their plans. Yeah. And, there's some that I talk to once a year or so. I have this really lovely couple that I think when I talked to them, they're both like 18 or 19. They like just graduated from high school or just first year of college. And they're like, hey, we want to be homeowners one day. I'm like, awesome. Like, what's your plan? I'm like, well, in the next like 5 years. I'm like, nice. Great. Yeah. So we talk like every 6 or 8 months and just kind of checking in with them, and they're finishing their education and they're like getting into their like first version of their careers. And they've been saving a little bit because they've been going to college, you know, but they're saving for multiple years to get to that 3% down payment.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
like, hey, everyone's journey is different. And I'm like, that when they eventually do buy a house, that'll be one of the most proud deals that have done, because it's like, hey, they were just kids when we had the first conversation. You know, I'm happy to help lots of people, but
Right.
those are a little more special.
Yeah.
Right. So
I feel ya. And I think people don't realize how long-term these real estate relationships are. Like many of my clients that are just getting into contract now, I've been working with for 3-4 years. And so that's a long-term relationship where you are making sure that you're educating people along the way and being there for them at every step, because it's very, very rare that the day that someone walks in your door, they're ready to buy
they're
a
like,
house.
hey, write this offer for me. I mean, got it all figured out. It happens sometimes.
Great, but
I don't mind those calls. Like, hey, I need to make an offer in 20 minutes. Can you help me? Like, yeah, sure. That's fine. How do you stay in contact with people? Because I think one of the things that we, in our industry, it's not a me and you thing, but it's an industry-wide thing, is that delayed gratification is hard. And most people don't want to invest their time and energy into those relationships that take 3, 4, 5 years to turn into cash flow. Right. They want to look at something like, hey, if you're not ready to go kind of in the next few months, then like, I'm going to forget about you. So what do you do? How do you keep up with people if you can see that it's going to take them years to be ready?
I think I don't approach it as looking at clients as eventually turning into cash flow. I think I try to just show up authentically and help educate and support and show them the path. And if and when they're ready, and if it happens to be with me, then I'm there. And I think I just I value my relationships, and I work on maintaining them anyways, whether it's friendships and making sure that I'm going to coffee with people every now and then, or I like to host events. I also like to bring little goodies by to people that have talked with me about real estate, just to, make sure that they know I'm there to show up.
So do you like have a CRM system, or just like a list, like an Excel spreadsheet? Like, what's your tool? Like, so if you have, okay, I'm going to do a door drop of 50 things, and you've done that a bunch. You've done that. I think I've gotten multiple things from you over the years. So like, how do you keep that list going?
I do have an Excel spreadsheet with addresses on it. And then I also have a CRM for people who want to be on property alerts and want actual, like, oh, these are the homes that just hit the market and things like that. So I have a couple different places.
So you're like, hey, I'm going to do 50 door drops. And you're like, okay, I'm going to go look at my CRM system to see who's been looking at real estate lately, and kind of go off that list, and then go off my other, okay, that's maybe 30 of them. And then here's the other 20, and you kind of pick randomly.
No, I wouldn't say it's random. I try to stick with people that I know will enjoy seeing me or getting the goodies. So, usually if someone's had a conversation with me about real estate, and then I'll bring a little something over, if they're like, oh, okay, thanks, then probably won't stop by them again. But if they're like, this is amazing, thank you so much, I'm like, awesome, I'm glad you appreciate it.
Yeah. I like those personal touches. I like it. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
I have, like, we bought our first house in 2012 with Bill Gabbard, Bill at Century 21. Anyway, Bill's great. And we were in a Rotary together at the time. And for years, Bill has been sending me batteries for my smoke detector every like 6 months. And I get it. And I'm like, thanks, Bill. And I know that it's time to go change out at least one of the smoke detectors. There's like 9 in the house or whatever now. But every time Bill sends me a battery, I'm like, all right, time to go change out all the batteries and the smoke detectors. And those little touches like keep you top of mind. So like, I guess the advice is for anyone out there doing, real estate, is like, find your thing, not just an email. Everyone has their email automations, and like your social is good, but like find a way to do something special, even if it's like 20 a month. If you did 20 little door drops once a month, and you pick different people every time, like that's touching a lot of people over the year.
Yeah. Or even if you just, if you show up for people, if you maintain those relationships, I don't think it should be thought about as names on a spreadsheet, right? It should be like, these are people that I care about, and I'm doing this because it's fun. Like, personally, I've been trying to get a newsletter together for a while, and it just doesn't excite me. There's nothing about it that I'm like, what can I really put out there that is important to people? So I focus my energy elsewhere. I make sure that I'm calling them and I'm saying, hey, I want to see you. Let's chat. You're important to me, and this journey that you're on is important to me.
For sure. I found that since COVID,
yeah,
the markets have been very different. And before COVID, we were getting face to face with pretty much every client. Like, that was the idea. Is like, it wasn't a good sale. Like, it wasn't a good deal unless they came into the office and met face to face. And that was like the metric we use of like, get people here, have a real conversation, sit across from the table from them, create a relationship, right? Like, not just a phone call, not just a text thing. And since COVID, like, nobody wants to do that anymore. And it's hard. I actually have had more lately, especially the younger buyers, like the Gen Zers, right?
Yeah.
They're happy to come in and talk, which is interesting. There's a bit of a shift. But yeah, I think it's good to like find ways to get face to face and like have coffee with people, and just like being in the same room is really important, because we kind of got away from that for many years.
Absolutely. And the thing about my side of things, actually, home searching and home buying, is it is in person. You do need to go to the house, and you need to see how it feels. It's tactile, and you're smelling the house, and you're feeling the energy in it, and you're wanting to make sure that, it's the right spot for you. Not to say that like there aren't occasions where maybe you live out of state and you trust your realtor to go and you find that home for you. But I think for the most part, it is important to get out there and really feel it. And I can tell when my clients walk into their house. It's a really interesting connection where it's almost like every other house they go to, they're justifying. They're like, oh, this is good. This is good on paper. We can make this work. Yeah. And then they walk into their house, and it's like, no, this is it. I'm going to do what I need to do to make this work. And it's really cool experience.
We had that experience when we bought our current home.
Yeah.
My wife walked in and she was like, this is the one. I'm like, how do you even know that? We haven't even looked at anything. It was the first house we looked at. And she's like, that's it. Like, I just know. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. And we have this rule that if she says, Dan, I'm serious. And then whatever she says after that, that's like, it's not really for discussion. It's like, I mean, we still discuss it, but it was like, I'm not joking. This is the thing. She's like, Dan, I'm serious. This is the house. I'm like, you're sure? She's like, 100%. Like, okay.
Did you go tour more homes just to make sure? No. Wow.
That was it.
That's awesome.
We looked at the one, made an offer, got into contract, and that was that. And it's a great house. We love it. It is definitely our home. And I can't really imagine being anywhere else.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think there's something true about, your energy, the energy of the house, just like, I'm not sure what it is, but there was a connection, and that was that. So it's cool that you can see that, like your clients walk in and it's different, and you can, and there's probably a great way for you to know, like, how hard do they push to get this house? Like, how aggressive do they make their offer? And like, hey, this is the one, this was a different experience when you walked in.
Yeah.
We need to go and like, go get it.
Yeah. And, I think also, I tell my clients, ultimately it's your money, it's your purchase. I am only here to offer my expertise. You can take it or leave it.
Right.
But I do find that people are more receptive to what I suggest when they do find that home. Do you think there's any, do you think there is something like, it's not even always that you find the house that you love, but maybe the house waits for you?
Could be.
Yeah. I mean, because I've seen that happen too, where it's like clients fell in love with the house and then all of a sudden it goes into contract and they're devastated and then it falls out and it's their house.
Yeah, I do think things happen for a reason,
Yeah.
And like, it's kind of what's meant to be is meant to be.
Yeah.
And, I like the exercise I go through with my clients is like, hey, especially when they're debating, like, do we offer this? Do we offer that? Okay. Do we offer 600 or do we offer 610? Okay. Well, here's the question is, if you offer 600 and you find out after that someone else offered 610, and if you offered 610, you would have got it.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be upset?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, great. Now that you're 610, if you offer 610 and someone offers 620, would you be upset? Yes. Okay. Then you need to offer 620. You keep doing that until you get to the point where you're like, look, if someone wants to pay $900,000 for this house, they can have it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now we know where your actual desire is.
Yep.
And then we can go from there.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of like back and forth. I've had a number of lately. It's back and forth over $2,000. And I'm like, if someone else walked in right now and made the deal that's being proposed and they took it from you, how would you feel? I'd be pissed. It's like, okay, then take the deal then. Yeah. That's the sign to take the deal.
I agree. And, of course, as agents, we have fiduciary duties to protect the financial interest of our consumers, 100%. So we're not gonna steer you wrong. And I'll look at the whole picture. If there's no other offers competing, sure, we can.
Yeah. There's no one else offering. You don't need to offer $200,000 over.
Exactly.
Right. So don't do that.
Yeah.
But, there's definitely like that game to play where it's like, I can show you the math. Yeah. I can show you how much the monthly payment difference is.
Yeah. One thing that I've found really helpful with my clients is if they have a few homes that they're going between and they're like, oh, I liked these, but I'm not sure which one. It's like, okay, well, if they all went into contract tomorrow, which one would you be most disappointed about? Or if it's just one home, we're thinking about making an offer. Okay, well, if you found out that somebody else scooped it up tomorrow, would you care? And that's been a really good meter for people to determine
how quickly they should move.
Yeah, or I don't want to lose this one. Or you're right. Yeah, this isn't the right one for me.
I've had that too. It's like, well, we're going to wait and see what happens. Okay. Yeah. Like, that's a good follow-up question. Someone else bought it, got in the contract tonight. And you could have been the one. Yeah. How would you feel about it?
Yeah.
Notice that we're talking a lot about feelings and not about like dollars.
Yeah.
Because it really is. Yeah. The dollars are important for sure. Everyone has finances. Everyone's got to make sure it works with their budget. And we have a responsibility to make sure the loan works for them in the short term and the long term. But the real decision is about how they feel. So it is very interesting. And, I think that speaks to the importance of having the team of the realtor and the lender that like they're catering to both sides. It winds up being an emotional decision, but there are real life financial consequences.
Absolutely. Right? So. Yeah. You have to look at the whole picture. But again, it's why I love doing what I do, because you're not, unless you are an investor, you're not buying something because it works on paper. You are creating your future and your family's future and your reality. Like, where are you going to wake up every day? Yeah. Where are you going to have your coffee? Where are your kids going to run through the halls and draw on the walls? My kids do that. So good
thing that your husband is a painter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So now let's switch gears to that. So your family business is Duality Painting.
Yep.
And your husband, Zach, is like that's his job, right? He runs that on a daily basis, and you're also involved in it. Yep. And in addition to your role as a real estate professional, tell us a little bit about the painting business and kind of what you guys do there.
Yeah. So Zach's dad is a painter as well. So he was painting out of high school, and he was going to college when we met, getting a degree in business, and also like painting part-time for his dad. And then our son was born, and he decided to found the company in 2018. It's really taken off from there. He, I think he does a great job, and, I think what really works for him is not only is he meticulous and good at what he does, he's also he puts customer satisfaction at the very top, and he makes sure that he's communicating and that the customer is satisfied with what he's doing. I think he genuinely cares, and I refer him to my real estate clients. I have, trusted real estate friends that definitely refer him to, their clients. And I think he's local, he's family oriented. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Like I tell my clients, like, hey, every house needs stuff.
Yeah.
Even, brand new construction needs work. And one of the biggest things is paint, right? Like the colors around you, and like it sets the tone for the environment, and then like the mood and the vibe of the house. Like it's super, super important. And having a trustworthy, painter someone that you want to have in your phone because, I'm not sure about you guys, but we've painted multiple times, inside and out. And it's like, hey, changing this room around, we need this change and that change. And it's really important. People think they can just kind of do it themselves. And some people can.
Sure.
But
go for it.
Man,
Then
I tell
you
you.
can call us.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I ever want to paint again. I've done a lot of painting and refinished cabinets, and it is not fun work for me. Wow. And I'm happy to pay someone. I'm happy to pay someone to do it for sure.
Yeah. I also, I think, again, when we're talking about the emotional aspect of your home, like it matters who's walking through your door. It matters who is working on your home. Like, sure, maybe you could get somebody who's super duper cheap and unlicensed to come in and, do an okay job. But like, are they someone that you actually want around your home and your family and your things? Like, or, I think that's why BNI is awesome.
I was just going to say that. Yeah. Our BNI chapter is great. We have a wonderful trades sphere. Yeah. And, so painters and electricians, plumbers, HVAC, general contractor, interior designer. We got the whole thing, and they're all wonderful, trusted, vetted people. They've all done work on my house,
Absolutely.
And it's like, this is great because I can refer them easily and with confidence and know that if I send Jeremy out to go do something for someone, I just referred him to a friend yesterday. And it's like, I have nothing but trust that he's going to do a great job and he's going to take care of them because we send constant referrals to him. Yeah. Not only because he's doing a good job for anybody, but because also, he's a trusted advisor. He's a trusted person in our sphere. And I want to make sure, he wants to make sure that those referrals continue to come.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we know that they're cleanly, respectable, people that you can sit down and have a meal with and,
totally.
And also come fix your house. Like that's important. And again, speaks to I really think there's a value in Sonoma County for focusing on local people that and
absolutely. So you don't just help home buyers, you help home sellers as well. So what advice do you have for home sellers right now? Because it seems like the market is a little funky. And I'm just curious to know, what if you're having a listing presentation today, what are you telling your home seller about the market?
Well, I think, I think even with selling, it also comes back to intention and why are you selling and where are you going to go? And what do you visualize? Like, are you selling because you think it's the right time, or are you selling because you want to get closer to your grandkids, or you want to start a new chapter? Because that's really what it is. And I think once you become clear on the goal, then everything else is easier to fall into line. And it becomes a little easier to let go. And I think, there needs to be, if somebody's clinging to their house and not ready to let go, it's not going to sell.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like you have to emotionally, I would thank your house for every purpose that it served you, because it has. And then from there, you can walk through as far as the logistical side of how do you actually get your home ready to sell? Obviously easy fixes, definitely painting can really up the value and perceived value of the home because, it's typically not a huge investment, but if you walk in somewhere and the walls are old and, have different paint splotches everywhere, that's going to affect how a buyer sees it. And then also, staging is really effective at helping get your home sold because it helps the buyer actually visualize themselves in it, as we've talked about, right? Can they imagine their furniture going there? Can they imagine that life that they will have? And then also I would say, once you're clear on your goal, staying flexible to what your realtor is telling you. And I think pricing it accurately and marketing are the two factors that sell your home. So you can have a dream price. We all do. If I could sell my home for $5 million, I would, but that's not a thing in today's world. But when you come in with the right price and you come in with the right marketing, the buyers that are already looking are going to be competitive on it. And, homes that are new on the market, they're exciting. They get the most attention. And that's where your biggest opportunity for the highest sale really lies, is in that beginning of getting on the market. So you want to make sure that, photos look awesome. They're going out to realtors. They're being emailed out. They're being postcards are being mailed out. It's being brought up on Broker Tour because we still do that here. So yeah, as far as like listings, it's really making sure that you're getting all the attention on it and the right attention.
Yeah. I think what you said at the very beginning was like, why are you selling?
Yeah.
And I'm not a realtor, but I would suspect that anyone's close ratio of listing presentations to actual listings would go up if you started the conversation with, why are we here?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of, here's all the information about comps and sale prices, and here's my proof of everything I can do and all my past sales. It's like, why are we selling?
Yeah.
You know, because it's a very different conversation if someone's selling because they're getting divorced, as opposed to, well, we're having our third or fourth kid.
Exactly.
Right. And like that completely changes the conversation.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
I think it's good insight. And also like you said, like the energy behind it's going to kind of tell you what, you know, especially in some of the divorce situations. I'm not sure if you had a lot of those, but I've had a lot of them from my perspective. And it is hard when one person does not want to leave and they, you know, kind of dragging their feet, and it makes it really difficult. And it can delay or stop a transaction.
Yeah.
If someone's not emotionally ready to go. And they've got to.
Yeah, you have to
get that sorted.
You have to be clear on it, or call in the right interventions if needed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I think, what was I going to say? Yeah, it's just like anybody can come to a sale or come to a listing presentation and say, these are my sales. This is the price. These are the comps. Like, great. And I can find that out myself on Zillow, you know. It needs to be a bigger picture of, okay, what are you actually doing? What's the goal here?
Right.
So.
Yeah. Again, like when you walk in, like, are you having your clarity on what you're wanting to do? Like, you're wanting to help them transition from where they are to where they want to be.
Yeah.
And whether that's, you know, for a joyous occasion or something that's tragic, either way, it's still a new chapter.
Yeah.
Right. So like, how do you like help your clients prepare that? Well, they've got to visualize what their future is going to look like, and then you can help like create that vision for them.
Yeah. And also non-attachment from my end. Like my service to my clients is never about what I want. Like, it's not about me wanting to sell the home. It's their journey. You know, if they decide that actually it's not the right move for them, then great. I'm glad that I've helped play a part in them figuring that out. So
nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. So I always like to ask people, kind of as we're wrapping up here, like, where do you like crystal ball? Where do you see the market going? There's a lot of stuff happening with, you know, energy costs and oil, and interest rates are not where we thought they were going to be right now, but yet housing demand is still high. First time home buyers are getting older, you know, like there's all these factors going on. So like kind of give us your vision of what happens in the future. And obviously if you're right, you get some type of award, but if you're not, that's okay. Like where do you think we are now? And where do you think we're going?
I think I see that I don't see the demand for Sonoma County going anywhere. I think we've seen a shift from buyers from Silicon Valley and the city shifting upwards, and I really don't see that stopping anytime soon. It's why my husband and I chose to invest in our house in Rohnert Park, and you know, since then the market has climbed significantly in our area, and I see that continuing to grow. I'm seeing new construction coming up to Cloverdale, which, you know, feels very far away, but it's really 15 minutes from Healdsburg. So I think, you know, I see moving north just continuing to grow. I think that trend
continues, especially with everything happening in San Francisco right now. I'm not sure how much of a finger you keep on that pulse, but that market is insane right now. And it's just gonna keep pushing people out of the city and further north. And then those people get displaced and they get pushed up here. And we just see this trend, you know, going further and further north. And I think you hit it on the head. Like Cloverdale is now a real conversation. I've seen more and more activity in the last 2-3 years in Cloverdale than I have ever.
Yeah.
And they're building up there. So it'd be really interesting to see how that trend continues, especially once the SMART train kind of gets extended.
I know.
I think that passed. We just yesterday, well, as we were recording this, yesterday was the midterm, not the midterms, but the election day yesterday, and that one of the ballot measures was the passing of the smart train tax.
Yeah.
And that looks like that's going to pass kind of in a landslide, which means hopefully that's future, like guaranteed future cash flow for them to extend that line to go all the way to Cloverdale.
Yeah.
And that I think just adds that more into the conversation, and then that housing market will benefit from that as well.
Absolutely. And I think, I think our entire culture has really shifted since COVID, where, before it was important to be in the city and be in an office building, and that was where all the careers were. And now we have so many more possibilities with, working remotely, and the way that our world is really set up, that buyers want space. They want a home. They want a yard. They don't want to be so crammed anymore. And as we move north, that becomes way more realistic for a budget.
I'm also seeing, and that this is like early days, has happened a few times now, where I'm seeing retirees moving to the city, right? They're like selling their family house, like their large family house, and they're buying like a small condo in San Francisco because they want to be where the life is.
Yeah.
And they're like, the kids are out of the house. We're going to buy a small, this is like, we've done 3 of these, I think, now in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, they're going to buy the 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo, in a nice part of the city.
Yeah.
And they want to be able to walk down to go see live music and go restaurants. And these are people in their 60s. And
I love that. And
I think that's a cool trend.
Yeah. And they don't have to worry about driving. And so I think.
And it opens up that family home, that 4-bedroom, 3-bath home for a younger family to buy. And I think that transition is actually really great. It's going to actually help the housing stock, making more larger homes available, like family homes available for families. And then those retirees and empty nesters can downsize into something, that's closer to things they're interested in.
Yeah.
But how cool is that? Being in your 60s and be like, I'm going to go somewhere the live music is happening and there's great restaurants and there's nightlife, and good for them.
I would love that. Yeah.
That's a cool trend.
Yeah.
So
I
cool.
agree.
Lindsey, thank you for being on By the Bay. I appreciate you being here. And I'll make sure your contact information is in the show notes if anyone wants to reach out to you to talk about real estate and painting or yoga. They can. And I appreciate you as a friend, and thank you for being here on the show.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
Awesome.
I appreciate it.
See you soon.
All right.
Stay up to date with Bay Area real estate. Hit subscribe now if you haven't already. Did you enjoy this episode? We love reviews in the Apple Podcasts app